Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about Azorius Flash in Pioneer. We're going to talk about card choices in the deck, the overall strategy of the deck, how to play the deck. Let's jump into it. Okay, this is technically the Spirits deck, but it's becoming more and more a Flash deck as time has gone on. What this deck is attempting to do is play pretty much everything at instant speed to leave up counter magic for things that matter and make it so board wipes never matter, sorcerer speed removal is really bad, and your opponent can never predict what your turn is going to look like because you're going to be casting a lot of your spells at the end of their turn, which can be very frustrating to play against and very fun to play. So this deck kind of comes in a few different categories. We have counter magic, we have spirit synergies, removal, and then sort of the rest of the deck. So I'm going to divide those up right now. And so a big part of this deck is the spirit package. Notice we're playing Mutavault as a land. It's a spirit too. We're playing Mausoleum Wanderer. It's a 1-mana 1/1 with flying. Whenever another spirit you control enters, this creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. We can sacrifice this creature to counter target instant or sorcery spell unless the controller pays X, where X is the creature's power. This puts a kind of interesting tax on our opponent's spells because we don't have to sacrifice it when they cast a spell. So they have to play this like little mini game where they are trying to bait us with spells that don't matter by sacking Mausoleum Wanderer or trying to get them to tap out or whatever so they can cast spells that matter. And we can kind of just sit on Mausoleum Wanderer, apply pressure with it, and then when a spell that really matters, we can flash in some spirits and actually be able to counter it because we can pump up its power and then sacrifice it and they have to pay even more. Playing Supreme Phantom is a 2-mana 1/3 with flying. Other spirits you control get +1/+1. So this is our Spirit Lord. Being able to apply pressure in the air is extremely powerful. So these notably are some of our non-instant creatures. But then we get into Rattlechains. Rattlechains is a 2-mana 2/1 with flash and flying. When this creature enters, target spirit gains hexproof until end of turn, and you may cast spirit spells as though they had Flash. So we can cast things like we have Flash. We already have Rattlechains on the battlefield. We can put Mausoleum Wanderer under the battlefield to be able to surprise counter some things. If we don't have like a normal hard counter, we can get Supreme Phantom onto the battlefield to surprise pump things up. It's just like a lot of shenanigans that you can do with Rattlechains, and that's ignoring the fact that it can protect your spirits from spot removal. We're playing Spell Queller, which is one of the better spirits ever printed. It's a 3-mana 2/3 with flash flying. When this creature enters, exile target spell with mana value 4 or less. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exile card's owner may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Being able to effectively counter things while also being a threat is super good. Also notably, it exiles the spell, doesn't actually counter it, so it can counter things like Supreme Verdict, which are technically uncounterable, which is pretty cool as well. So those are a lot of your spirit synergies, even though Skyclave Apparition is also a spirit, which is gonna matter. And then we have removal. We're playing Sheltered by Ghosts. It's a 2-mana aura, enchant a creature you control. When this aura enters, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchant a creature gets +1/+0, has lifelink and ward 2. Obviously very good against aggressive decks. It's removal, and this is especially good in this deck because nearly everything has flying. So you're going to be able to apply more pressure with Sheltered by Ghosts and gain life as you get things out of the way. And the ward really matters on things like the Spirit Lord or Spell Queller, or things that you really don't want to die. We're playing 3 Portable Hole. It's a 1-mana artifact. When this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls with mana value 2 or less, or until this artifact leaves the battlefield. It just gets things out of the way for very cheap. Also is very good against the aggressive decks as well. And we're playing Skyclave Apparition, which notably is a spirit. It is a 3-mana 2/2. When this creature enters, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control, mana value 4 or less. When the creature leaves the battlefield, the exile card's owner creates an XX blue illusion creature token where X is the mana value of the exiled card. So this has all of those spirit synergies that we already talked about, which is really cool with Rattlechains can protect this card, but also can get things out of the way, can make sure, you know, aggressive decks are less aggressive. It's just great all around removal while applying pressure and being a spirit. Unfortunately, it does not have flying, so that's kind of poopy, but other than that, very good. So that's our removal. So we're getting things out of the way, attacking with these spirits, and because most of the stuff has flash or instant, we're able to play counter magic and kind of decide what is good for us to cast after we see what our opponent does. So we're playing Spell Pierce, a 1 mana instant counter target non-creature spell unless controller pays 2. Very, very cheap and super good against non-creature spells, which generally those are the spells that are good against us, things like spot removal, board wipe, stuff like that. And then we're playing for No More Lies. It's a 2 mana instant counter target spell unless controller pays 3. If the spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. So great 2 mana counter magic. And again, we're often able to leave mana open because a lot of the cards in our deck we can play at instant speed, which makes this counter magic even better on the back of applying pressure with these spirits in the air. And then some miscellaneous stuff. We're playing the Wandering Emperor. Wandering Emperor is a 4 mana planeswalker with Flash. If it entered this turn, you may activate her loyalty abilities anytime you can cast an instant. It starts at 3 loyalty. +1 is put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature against first strike until end of turn. Its -1 is create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance, and -2 is exile target tap creature, you gain 2 life. This is decent against the aggressive decks. This is decent against the slower decks because it's just something that can apply pressure over time and something that must be answered, and notably at instant speed, so we don't have to cast it if we commit to it. We have a bunch of other stuff to do as well. We're also playing Enduring Curiosity. Enduring Curiosity is a 4 mana 4/3 with, you guessed it, Flash. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. When Enduring Curiosity dies, if it was a creature returned to the battlefield under its owner's control, it's an enchantment. So the cool part about Enduring Curiosity is it goes along with our theme really well because it has Flash. We don't have to cast it unless we really, really want to. But also, a lot of our deck is evasive. It has flying. So it's really easy to deal combat damage, even if it's in small chunks, which allows us to draw a lot of cards and continue to bury our opponent in that card advantage on the back of Enduring Curiosity. The downside is 4 mana is a little bit of a lot for this deck, but still very good when you get that engine going.
Oh, hello there. I'm glad you made it this far in the video. It probably means you're enjoying what you're watching. And I just wanted to let you know that I have a TCG Player store that funds a lot of the content that you're seeing, that in part allows me to do this full time. Because, as you can see from my view count, I do not make enough money to be able to actually do this. So, if these videos have helped you in any way, there's a few ways that you can support me. Beyond just like donating money, but things that you can get stuff back on. If you have cards you want to sell, then you should email me at justbottingbiz@gmail.com. Put right here. It's also in the description of every one of the videos. We can figure something out. I can make some offers. Having more inventory is super, super helpful, and you get money. And you can support me. The other way you can support me is by buying from my TCG Player store, which is also linked down below and in the link tree and all of that stuff. Link right here. You should totally check that out. I'll send you some cards, maybe write you a little note if I know that you're from the videos. That's it. Please consider it and enjoy the rest of your video.
So again, you're going to be playing things at instant speed, getting things out of the way, countering things that matter, drawing cards, and pumping up your spirits and having those spirit synergies, protecting your spirits, and applying pressure in the air. As far as the sideboard goes, we're playing Deafening Silence. It's 1 mana enchantment. Each player can't cast more than 1 non-creature spell each turn. This for the combo decks. 4th Portable Hole, again for the aggressive decks and getting some things out of the way, like we already talked about in the main deck. Playing a Surge of Salvation. It's a 1 mana instant. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Prevent all damage that black and or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. Get very good against the black removal decks and the red aggressive decks. It's cool. It allows us to be able to profitably block the red decks as well, which is really cool. Also good against Thoughtseize, which it matters. Playing 2 Declaration in Stone, 2 mana sorcery, exile target creature, and all other creatures its controller controls of the same name as that creature. That player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way. Really good card against decks that are attempting to go wide. Being an unconditional removal, though at sorcery speed, is very, very strong. And just generally very good against the creature decks. Rest in Peace, 2 mana enchantment. When the enchantment enters, exile all graveyards. If a card or token would be put in the graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. This is our great graveyard hate. Playing Takasi is Welcome. It's a 3 mana enchantment. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control the mana value 3 or less enter, draw a card. Its ability triggers only once each turn. Very good against decks that are attempting to go long. Allows us to just draw a bunch of cards by casting our spells. Playing for Wedding Announcement. It is a 3 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter on this enchantment. If you attack with 2 or more creatures this turn, draw a card. Otherwise, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Then if this enchantment has 3 or more invitation counters on it, transform it. It transforms into Wedding Festivity, where creatures you control get +1/+1. +1. This generally comes in with Kakassia's Welcome. It's for these decks that are going really long, allows us to apply additional pressure and just make our creatures bigger in the late game. Playing Split Up is a 3-mana sorcery. Choose one, destroy all tapped creatures or destroy all untapped creatures. Good against other creature decks, especially creature decks that are attacking a lot. And then we're playing the 3rd Wandering Emperor in the board for the same reasons in the main deck. But there you have Blue-White Flash, Blue-White Spirits, whatever you want to call it, in Pioneer. If you like this video, then please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.